Thank you, Peaches. That was great introduction. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Cryptidmasterkd, and the terrifying creature that's stalking, killing, and eating your cattle and your sheep. It's no offense. I don't mean to hurt anybody. It's just they taste very good roasted with garlic. And that's also good to ward off vampires. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to tell you of an event that happened way back in prehistoric times, where a legend told by native elders to an archaeologist about an event known as the Bigfoot Wars. It happened centuries ago in the Sierra Mountains of California. And this event is the reason why many Native Americans won't go to certain areas in the Saharas.
Saharas?
The Sierra Mountains in California, Cryptid Mom.
Sierra Madres.
Sierra Madres, whatever.
Well, the Sahara is in the desert.
Quiet, Cryptid Mom. I'm telling a story here. I'm sorry, everyone. She's a piss. Why did I just say that? I don't know. Anyway, in today's episode, before we get into the story, we all know what a Bigfoot is. He has gone by many names over the centuries and millennia. Seen right here, this poster I have of Bigfoot. He has been called many names over the centuries. He's known as Omaha, Skookum, Skunkape, Yayali, Umakwa, Mokless, and Zunakwa. All these stories from all over America, you hear he's even gone by Hairy Man. And many Native American tribes from around America tell stories of Bigfoot. Now, and though they differ in many ways, this is a big part of our history. But what if I were to tell you that at one time in prehistoric history, there was a time when Native Americans and Bigfoot came to blows. This event was known as the Bigfoot Wars. You see, thousands of years ago, it is said that back in prehistoric times, you see, the Native Americans back then believed that Bigfoots in the area of the Sahara Mountains, the Sierra Madre Mountains, were cannibals. And that they would come into villages and terrorize and abduct children and take them away, especially babies, and take them away and eat them. It was believed that these Bigfoots were cannibals. And now you know why. But and this was widely done through many Bigfoot cultures, especially with the Skookum. You hear that these things will come into villages, attack, and eat people. I have two stories about it, but why don't I tell you first about the Bigfoot Wars? The story goes, the story goes that one day, many, many years ago, that a Bigfoot crossed into Indian territory, Native American territory, stole a baby from its mother. Some say it threw her to the ground and stole the baby. Anyway, it stole the baby from its mother, took it away, and ate it. And so, not long after that, the Native Americans and Bigfoot had this huge war. And it said that the goal for the Native Americans was they were going to kill all the Bigfoots in the area. Now, Bigfoot raided, pillaged, and terrorized Indian villages, pillaged them in the Sahara area. Indian warriors retaliated. And now the Native American Indians back then were a bit more successful than the Bigfoots because they had spears, bows and arrows, clubs, and other weaponry at their disposal, like spears, bows and arrows, clubs, and tomahawks, axes. And so they were a bit more successful than the Bigfoots, because all the Bigfoots had were stones, sticks, and trees. Now the Bigfoots had a lot of advantages on their side because they'd been in the area a lot longer than the natives had. And they had, were able to tear trees out of the ground, throw giant rocks, and they had very brute strength on their side. Now, this went on for a very long time, but eventually, a truce was forged. Territories were established up in the Sierra Mountains. And all the way to this day, the people of the Native American cultures in the Sierras have established certain areas that they won't go to at all in the Sierras where Bigfoots could live. And while sightings still occur, a lot of natives will tell you never to go into those mountains, that is a place where the Bigfoots live. And while that happened not too long ago, one man and friends went up to that mountain to see for themselves. Their first encounter, the man, who we'll call Jay was a good hunter, and his first encounter was while he was hunting deep off the path in the Sierra Mountains. His story goes like this. He was out hunting with his friend, who we'll call B or K. We'll call him K. J and K were out hunting in the Sierra Mountains. They'd gone quite a ways into the woods and deep into an area where natives say Bigfoot lives. And anyway, while they were there, they come across a creature squatted down, and they thought it was a bear. So, this would make for an easy kill. So they got in closer to get a better shot. And this guy Jay readied his rifle and was preparing to take a shot. And then this creature stood up on its hind legs, and he said it was a guy, a man. And his friend Kay says, "Don't shoot, don't shoot." And this thing looked right at them and 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 started yelling and growling. He had his hands started brushing, rustling trees and throwing his hands around and moving brush. And now this is actually something interesting, because big primates like gorillas will do this as a territorial threat display. Basically, it's saying, "I'm dangerous. I can kill you if I want to. Go away." And J and K decided to turn around and got back to their car. And for 6 years, he never went hunting out there again until his need to know the truth of what he saw came. That's the thing that always happens with cryptids. Even in the paranormal world, when someone encounters one of these things and they have this encounter, they want to know the truth. Because up until then, he'd heard stories by his elders and his parents about these Bigfoots in the area. But like anyone, he never took this seriously. And take it from me, my friends, my dear darling cryptid lovers, no one truly believes in cryptids like Bigfoot until it's staring at him right in the face. And in that need for answers, he and Jay and his friends went back to the mountains. They brought cameras, they brought everything they need in order to get evidence, including recorders, cameras, the essentials you need. I think they brought plaster, but things they would need to, collect evidence. And anyway, they set up camp, and they went off, and they settled in for the night. They put up trail cameras and all of the essentials. Anyway, what happened next would change their way of looking at Bigfoot. Over the night, they managed to get this on recording. All through the night, they heard howling, roaring, growling, and they managed to get it on recorder. And according to them, the creatures were probably curious or territorial. They actually managed to come into the camp, and they started ruffling around. And according to Jay, he was terrified and yet excited. Anyway, he managed to get the recording going. And you can listen to these recordings on the net if you want. But anyway, Jay and his friends the next morning found all kind of evidence. But they were also, as you would expect with a first time in the unknown, they were terrified. Terrified. And they knew, after a rainy night, they knew they had to get out. And so, grabbing everything they could, they booked it back to the car. They ran straight back to their car and hurried as fast as, loaded everything up as fast as they could, and got started on getting the heck out of there. However, Bigfoot left them a little message. As they were driving out, they got stuck in the mud, and they took pictures of these barricades in the road. This is a common thing with Bigfoot. If he doesn't want you to be somewhere, he's going to let you know through all kinds of means and warnings. And you can see these. He'll make structures, threats, But anyway, in the middle of the road, there were these huge branches. They started like little branches. And then later down the road, an entire tree down. This proves these things are very strong and capable of killing you. But right now, they were just sending a message to stay out. And anyway, as they were getting the trees out of the way, their car got stuck in the mud. And they were very scared and completely terrified. So they abandoned the car and ran off. Now a little bit later, after the storm was over, they knew they couldn't. They knew they couldn't, leave the car there. So they huffed after the rainstorm was over and they got better prepared. They went back to retrieve the abandoned car. However, what they found was one very last message from Bigfoot. As they were getting in the car and preparing to drive it off, they found a complete impression on one side of the windows. An impression of a face. A face that had been pressed up against the the car window. And they were very careful and collected some materials from the car, and they sent it to a lab. When they got the results back, the scientists who did the whole thing, they said that the specimen sample had been contaminated with human DNA. Now, they were pretty upset. They contaminated the sample. However, some cryptidologists believe that Bigfoot's human ape heritage may have been responsible, because some believe that Bigfoots are an hominid species of human or Neanderthal, which was a subhuman species that lived during the Ice Age period, up until modern humans came along. Well, the subject may have been contaminated, but still, finding a face imprint is a big find. To all you cryptid lovers, this story mostly is one of the biggest conclusion encounters with a Sasquatch of the Sahara Mountains. Now, I gotta tell you, Bigfoot is a big part of the culture around my hometown. I once actually, my cryptid mom and I actually came out here looking for him when our car crashed. Same way. Anyway, if we reach 1,000 subscribers, both me and Cryptid Mom, not only are going to Crater Lake, but to the Sierra Mountains, and we're gonna look for telltale signs, evidence of this creature, and maybe even go for sea monster expeditions. Who knows? Anyway, we're gonna wrap this video up. I want you all to like, comment, subscribe, and don't take it personal when I kill your livestock to eat them. You shouldn't take any of this personally. It's just cryptid business. Anyway, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Hello to all my fans, Cryptid Fangirl, all those other fans who love me. I love you all. Join me on TikTok and soon I'll be on other platforms. Anyway, one more time, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit of cryptid lore. Yeah, my name's Cryptidmasterkd, and I'm gonna give you a roar. Peace out. Don't forget your roar.